So on average per month, where are you currently at? I mean, now we're beginning of May of time of this recording.
Yep, beginning of May. So far, just for January, February, March. In the last 4 months, I'm averaging about just under $25,000 a month. But the thing is, I'm starting to sell. I get paid out 4 months later down the road.
Gotcha.
Not to confuse anyone, but basically, I'm continuing to sell more and more every month that goes by. So with the way I'm trending, I could very well hit 300,000 US dollars in 2022 if I continue to trend the way I am.
Hey, this is Markus Dunk here, and today I'm sitting here with one of our clients, Jared. He's absolutely been crushing it over the last few months with closing high ticket sales. And so yeah, I decided to invite him over for another interview, again, to talk about his experience in our program, what he's doing right now, his story, and yeah, to share some value with us as well. So Jared, excited to have you. Thanks for your time. Really appreciate it, you being here.
Yeah, appreciate you having me on, Marcus.
Awesome. And there's a lot to talk about. Okay. Yeah, how much exactly did you make over the last couple of months?
Yeah, so far this year, I've made just under $90,000. So I'll be honest, I'm on pace to probably make 300,000 this year in 2022 if things continue to go as well as they have been.
Gotcha. So on average per month, where are you currently at? I mean, now we're beginning of May of time of this recording.
Yep, beginning of May. So far, just for January, February, March. In the last 4 months, I'm averaging about just under $25,000 a month. But the thing is, I'm starting to sell. I get paid out 4 months later down the road.
Gotcha.
Not to confuse anyone, but basically, I'm continuing to sell more and more every month that goes by. So with the way I'm trending, I could very well hit 300,000 US dollars in 2022 if I continue to trend the way I am.
Wow, that's amazing, man. How does that compare? Because we had an interview end of last year. How did you finish last year? Because I think it was also pretty big, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, last year, if I recall, I probably told you that I was gonna make somewhere around 200. Maybe I said 250, but I am now selling more and making more this year than I did last year, and I'm continuing to trend upwards, which I believe I said in the interview. Like, I'm just continuing to work harder and harder and really just refine my skills as I go on. Even though I was still one of the top salespeople last year out of over 100 salespeople, I still continue to make sure that I take a step back and put in the work and grow and continue to get better and take it to the next level.
So basically continuously getting better, honing your skill, learning. That's amazing, man. So tell us a little bit about, like, what exactly are you doing? Like,
yeah, great question. So I work for a commercial real estate tech company. So basically, I'm assuming a lot of your viewers have probably heard of like Zillow. Have you heard of Zillow, Marcus?
It's a software, right?
So Zillow is like it's a website that you can go on to look for places to buy or rent, as far as homes or apartments and things like that.
Okay.
So basically what we are the Zillow of commercial real estate. So if anyone's looking to buy commercial real estate property, which I'm sure a lot of your viewers want to get into commercial real estate and they want to build up passive income and they want to own rental properties, what they would do is they would go onto our company's website and they would see a bunch of listings of commercial real estate property that's for sale.
Gotcha.
That's what we do. So yeah, people go to our site to find commercial real estate properties to buy.
Okay. And how do you come into play as a closer doing the high tickets thing? Like, how does that work? Like,
Yeah, great question. So basically, it's free. It's like, Marcus, let's just say you want to start buying commercial real estate properties. You can go on to our website for free right now, or download our iPhone app, Android app, and you can go on for free and find commercial real estate properties to buy. We don't charge you. What we do is we charge commercial real estate agents. They pay us to market their listings out to potential buyers.
okay, gotcha.
So basically, if you were a commercial real estate agent and you had apartment buildings or office buildings or retail buildings anywhere throughout the US for sale, you would call me or I would call you, and I would say, hey, and I would try to convince you to get on our paid version of the platform where I can actually market your listings heavily to these buyers and help you get them sold on our site, basically. It's kind of like with Amazon FBA, people spend money to sell their product on Amazon. We're like the Amazon of commercial real estate. Like, first pay us to market their listings on our site to all of our commercial real estate buyers.
Gotcha. Okay. So it's mainly real estate. It is about basically connecting a buyer to a property and help them basically find the right investment for them, or find the right property for them, or
exactly.
And the software or the website is just helping with that, and what you closing or where you do the sales is basically the premium version of that. Just for you to be able to push their offer to more listings. Is that how it works?
Yeah. So basically, like, let's just use Amazon as an example, because I think a lot of your people in your course can relate to that. Like, let's just say Amazon had a free version of their website where you could take any type of product you want to sell and you can throw it on Amazon for free, right? And try to sell your product. And then there's these guys at Amazon who are on the sales team that start calling you and they're like, hey, we have a premium side of the site where we can actually market these deals for you directly to these buyers. We already know what buyers are looking for this type of product in and around your area. So we'll actually take these listings and we'll market these directly to them for you. And then we'll give you their full contact information that you can add to your database to reach out to and resell every time you get a new product that hits the market, and things like that. And we'll take you from page 20 to the top of page 1, basically.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's what we're doing. We're basically like Amazon, but for connecting commercial real estate agents in their listings directly with buyers that are looking to buy commercial real estate properties.
Gotcha. Dude, this is super exciting, because if I remember correctly, with your background, when we first had our very first call, you told me about you wanted to go more into real estate, and you also had a little bit of real estate background. So now you actually found your way within that industry to monetize your skill set and actually work in industry, work with real estate, with something that you wanted to do either way.
Exactly. And that's the thing. Like, I have 4 years of experience selling software, and I also had 4 years of experience selling commercial real estate. If you combine the two, you get my new job. And this is the thing. Commercial real estate is very old fashioned. If you know a commercial real estate agent, like, they're pretty old fashioned. They don't really know about like e-commerce and how everything is now going onto the web. So everything now is being sold and traded online, remotely from everywhere. And that's how Crexy, our company, relates to you and everything that people are doing now. Is we're taking the commercial real estate industry online and making it remote, basically. I'll tell you a story. We have a broker who had a listing for sale. It was like, I forget what it was. I think he was in Alaska, I think. And he was selling like a retail building in Alaska. or maybe it was Florida, I forget, but he was selling a building in Alaska. He put it on Crexy online and found a buyer from Florida that bought his building in Alaska. So like, you know what I mean? Like that's how crazy even commercial real estate's gotten. And you know, there's all this talk about the metaverse, this,
Exactly.
that.
I just wanted to say that.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's like we've literally taken commercial real estate into the 21st century where it's all remote now. Like these agents are used to, like, let's just say you're an agent in Atlanta. You're used to just calling local buyers in Atlanta. But now there's so many out-of-state buyers nationwide that are leaving LA and New York, and they're buying in all these other states. And we've taken real estate online basically. So now like brokers just put their listings on these websites, and I'm in Atlanta, I'm a broker, I put this listing online, and here's a buyer from New York or California just finding me from his cell phone app and putting in an offer and buying my listing.
Awesome, man. This is so exciting. And I'm funny that you mentioned like the metaverse and all of that. I get that question a lot and calls when I talk to people. They're looking into, you know, doing what we do, learning how to close deals, high ticket, remotely. And then the question is always like, all right, but where is that? Like, is that something sustainable? You know, is it something long-term? And I personally think closing high ticket or even sales communication, it has like over multiple hundreds of years of background. Okay. There will always been high ticket offers around, or premium offers or services. And I also believe now, as we're going more into this online metaverse, Web 3.0, however you want to call it, there will be some way, shape, or form of closers, salespeople, high ticket offers out there. Maybe we're not connecting in on Zoom or on the phone like we do it today. Maybe it is, I don't know, you're then Jared the avatar, and I'm like Markus the avatar, right? And we're chatting like that way. But it's like a super fundamental skill set, right? That you can apply to the metaverse, to the real world, you know, to Web 2.0, whatever you want. What I would be curious about, Jared, I mean, now it's been already a couple of some time since you basically graduated through our mentoring program, and you have been doing incredibly well, man. So looking back at the mentoring program, like what do you think was like the biggest lesson that you got out of that, you know? And yeah, what would you say was kind of the biggest learning for you?
You know, and you're gonna laugh actually, because we do what's called a national sales huddle once a month, and we switch off. We let different salespeople close down the national sales huddle, where basically we have 150 salespeople nationwide at our company on a meeting once a month to talk about how the company's doing, how sales were, and then they choose one sales guy to close it down. And I can literally pull up my speech because I closed it down last month, and I used one of your lines, and I use a lot of,
I'm curious.
and there's a lot of lines that I actually used from you that stuck with me, believe it or not. And this was my ending, and it was, there's a saying this guy taught me that's very true, and it's that you need to qualify hard and close easy.
Yes.
And that's exactly what I learned from you. And it's funny because like switching over to your course, being in commercial real estate for 4 years, being in tech sales for 4 years, I had 8 years of sales experience, a lot more experience than anyone else. And I will say, like, as you can see, I still learned a lot that could be applied to my big tech sales job. And our company is worth like $800 million. We have 150 salespeople. I'm the top guy, and I'm using a lot of stuff that I learned from you, Markus. Like, you know, props to you, believe it or not. Like, and that's the thing is like, you got to learn, you can learn something new from everyone. Like I learned from being in commercial real estate. I learned from my old tech job, and then I learned a lot from you as well and your course. And there's just one little example. In my speech, I'm telling these guys to qualify hard and close easy. And a lot of these guys have never even heard that saying in their entire life. You know what I mean? And most of them are college grads. They're all from the US. They're all college grads. They've all been in sales for years, and they never even heard that. I'll tell you another line I said. I was literally with the senior vice president of revenue. He is one below the CEO of our company that's worth almost $1 billion. And he was in Miami from LA sitting next to me, and he heard this line that I said, which I've known for a while. And obviously, you know, this line and you've said it, and he just couldn't believe it. And he started emailing the whole company. Jared said this line, you guys all have to say it. And it was on-call incentive.
Yeah.
Hey, Marcus, we have an on-call incentive. If you want to get it going right now, I can give you this, this, and this. And he's never even heard that before. And I'm like, how is this top guy in his late 30s who's been in sales for his whole life? He's a senior vice president of revenue of $1 billion tech company, and he's never even heard the term on-call incentive. Like, insane. And the point is, you know, you got to learn from everyone, and you can always learn something new, you know?
Yeah, 100%. Wow, that's great, man. I mean, you still like that's the thing, and I always treat it like a buffet. I think you say it, like where you have like the food
Buffet,
just
exactly.
buffet. Yeah. So you just basically pick the things that are serving you in your situation right now from the people that you know that have the results, and then apply. See if they work for you. You keep them. If they don't work for you, you throw them away, right? So yeah, I think that's pretty cool. What do you think? And that's also probably more interesting for actually the students that are already within our mentoring program. What would you say to someone who's making like 10 grand a month, 12 grand a month, and they want to get to the level of making like 30 grand a month or even more? Like, what do you think are like the small, like what does it come down to? What do you think? What does it come down to? One closer making 10 grand a month, the other one making 30 grand a month.
Yeah, I'll tell you this. I was in that exact situation because I was at a tech. I left real estate. I was a failed commercial real estate agent. I wasn't making any money. And then I went into tech sales, which I think is huge. Right now, I think that if you want to make 6 figures and you want to work remote, there's millions of tech companies throughout the US and Europe right now that are hiring. They don't care where you live or where you're from. A lot of them might not even care if you went to college or not. But if you can impress them on the interview and you know sales, you can easily make 6 figures from anywhere in the world working for these tech companies. And I think these tech companies is like, it used to be, you know, it's funny. I'm going to bring up a funny example. Carmina might like this. I watched The Bachelor, The Bachelorette a lot, okay? Or I used to, Bachelor in Paradise. And when I was younger, it used to always say, this person was a doctor, this person was a lawyer, right? Everyone was a doctor and lawyer because they have successful people on the show. Now, every single person is an account executive. AKA they're in tech sales.
Right.
Tech sales is like the new lawyer, the new doctor. And I'm making more money than most lawyers that I know that graduated college. So, you know, with like remote work being so huge now and tech being so huge now, I think that if you want to make 6 figures or more, tech sales is where it's at. Yeah. Whether you're in Europe or the US or wherever you are. And I would say that I was making $10,000 to $15,000 a month. And then I got complacent, you know. I'm sure there's a lot of people in your course that were broke. Now they're making 10K a month, you know, for a while. And then they eventually realize like, that's not enough. Like, unfortunately, us humans, we always want more, you know, and it depends where you live. If you live in the US or you live in Europe, that's probably not enough. So what I did was I got complacent and I took a shot at being a commercial real estate agent again. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, it didn't work out, as you know, and that's when I called you and I was desperate. Mm-hmm. And then I went through your course and then, you know, I tried a couple of different things and I made some money here and there. Nothing really stuck. And then thankfully I found my new gig and now I've taken myself to the $300,000 range that I'm probably going to make this year. And I was only making 200 this year. So I would say it's 2 things. One, couple things, like be okay with like being uncomfortable and leaving your job and taking the leap to find a new job. Like if you know that you've hit the ceiling and you're complacent, you gotta jump ship. Mm-hmm. So taking that leap, knowing that like the first job that you take might not be the one. It might take 3, 4, 5 tries.
Yeah.
But eventually, if you keep trying, you put in the work, you'll find that right gig that's a good fit for you that takes you to the next level. And then also, I will say the reason I've been able to go from like 200,000 last year to 300 this year is because, unlike most people at this company, not only am I putting in more work, because I can guarantee you can ask anyone at my company, I work harder than all of them.
Love
But
that.
also so I put in more work because I want it more. You know what I mean? I'm more motivated. I want it more. I'm hungry. It's in my blood, but also because I'm willing to not get stuck in my ways and take a step back and improve. Like after making 200 and being one of the top guys, it's easy to kind of just get stuck in your old ways and be like, I'm good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But for me, like being good isn't good enough, where I'm just constantly continuing to try to learn more and improve, whether it's, your course, listening to spiritual books, getting my mindset right, getting my body right. Like I was telling you, I was jealous. I was like, Marcus is getting in good fucking shape. And I was in good shape when I first met you. And then I got at Crexy, when I started working, honestly became kind of fat and lazy. And I was like, I need to get my shit back. You know what I mean? So like I started hitting the gym. I started listening to my spirituality books again, getting my mind right. Cause sales is all mental, I've been listening to, like, I'll pull up these books, not to like keep ranting, but I'll pull up all these books that I've been reading, like winning the war in your, I'll screenshot it to you. Winning the war in your mind.
Yeah, we're gonna put it in here. Yeah.
Stillness is key. Dwayne Dyer is one of my favorites. Change Your Thoughts, Change Your Life. The Alchemist, Eckhart Tolle. Like a lot of these people are not putting the work that's needed outside of the office, and they're not putting in the work that's needed outside of work. You know what I mean? As far as like eating healthy, hitting the gym, and being in a good place mentally. And also being able to admit, like, look, I'm doing great, but maybe I should switch up a few things and take myself from great to even better, is what I'd say.
Wow, I think that's super, super valuable for everyone who is already in the game. Yeah, so not becoming complacent, just really making sure to always have like a clean slate. You're always there to learn, right? You're coming with an open mind. Now your ego is not getting in the way. Keep educating yourself. And then you mentioned things like outside of business, outside of the office, things like your health, your mental state, right? So what helped me a lot is just taking the discipline from the gym and apply to business, because there's a direct correlation. Probably a little bit over a year ago, I thought it would take away from me if I would kind of go to the gym because of the time, which was a limiting belief at the end of the day, right? So it's definitely like helping out, but then also not being afraid. And this is something I got from your answer there, not being afraid of putting in the hard work. Okay, so this is really also something that I love a lot about closing in this area, this field that we're in, because if you really want to work hard and you want to put in time and you love to work hard and long for your own success, you can do that, and you will basically harvest the fruits of it directly on your bank account. It's not that if you kind of working for someone else, or I don't know, like there's no direct correlation. You might get a little promotion, but that's pretty much it, so you're not really getting compensated for that. Now, then at the same time, you do it most of the time on your own schedule. You can do it from anywhere where you want. So yeah, I think that's been super, super valuable, these points there.
Yeah, 100%. One thing I'll say real quick is like, the thing about sales, even like, I'll be honest, like I do have a boss. I have a couple bosses, but the thing is, if you're in sales, you're in charge of your own destiny. Okay. So what I'm saying is, like, I'm the top sales guy. If I want to take a fucking vacation, I can take a fucking vacation. No one's going to tell me what to do. You know what I mean? As long as you're hitting your numbers, no one cares. So it's like, we've got people that are okay with making 150,000, and they work enough to make 150,000, you know, and if you want that type of work-life balance and you're okay with that, fine. I prefer to give it my all and make 300,000. You know what I mean? It's up to you. But at the same time, when you're the top guy, even at some huge company like I'm at today, if I want to take 2 weeks off and go work from Mexico, which my boss right now is in Mexico, he's in Cancun working for the next week. Like, you can do that. If you've proved yourself, they don't tell you what to do. You know what I mean? Like, you've always told me, like, if you're the top guy, you have a lot of leverage. It's the same thing with these influencers. If you have an influencer and you're the top guy, you have leverage. You can ask for a pay raise, like for more commission, and you can work from wherever you want. That's the thing about sales. It doesn't matter. I'm at a company that's worth almost $1 billion, and it's not that corporate, but it's pretty corporate. We have 250 employees now, 350 employees now. But when you're the top sales guy and you're on commission, you get to do whatever you want.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If I tell them I want to go work from Brazil for the next 2 weeks, I can do that as long as I continue to put in the deals. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's essentially, you're like the rainmaker, right? You're bringing in the last couple of meters of the race, so to speak. And everyone loves you in the company because you're bringing in the revenue, which is just amazing, right? So it gives you the freedom that you can become basically almost like your own boss, right? So of course there's someone that you have who's basically in charge of all of the reps, and in your specific case, yeah. But also we have to say that, for example, the company you're working with, this is also like more. It tends more to go into the corporate, let's say, than what we usually see with these online businesses. But I still think it's a great place for you. You found kind of your lane, so to speak, in there, you know. So what are people around you saying? I mean, of course, friends or people that maybe knew you from before, or they knew that you were struggling, or maybe family. Like, what are they saying? And do they know about you crushing it, or how does that work?
Yeah. You know, I'm usually pretty vocal about it. You know, there's no point doing well if you can't talk about it, right? And I just want to say one thing I want to reiterate. Like, my boss tells me all the time. He goes, "Look, Jared, you're the top guy. Like, if you want to fucking go to fucking Mexico or Brazil and work from there for a month, 2 months, I don't give a fuck. Just keep doing what you're doing. You can do whatever you want." I just want to reiterate that. But you know, obviously my family knows how well I'm doing, and they're extremely happy for me. You know what I mean? Like, my mom was like losing hope. My dad's a rich, successful entertainment lawyer from Los Angeles. You know what I mean? So like, you got to imagine there's a lot of pressure. You know, like I've said before, I grew up in Calabasas, which I don't know if not everyone knows what it is. Like, it's kind of blown up because of the Kardashians now, but because they live there. But anyways, the point is, whether you know what that is or not, like, I grew up pretty fortunate. My dad's a big time entertainment lawyer, so I had it, you know, a lot of expectations. You know, they wanted me to be a lawyer, they wanted me to be a doctor, and I'll tell you this, like, I'm making more than most lawyers and doctors that I know these days. Maybe not old time lawyers and doctors, but any new lawyer or doctor that you know, even from Los Angeles, where I'm from, or from New York, that has graduated when I did, and I'm 31 years old. So these people graduated, I don't know, a couple of years ago, 5 years ago. First of all, they're in tons of debt. But secondly, I can guarantee you 90% of them are not making 300 grand this year. So everyone's extremely proud. You know, obviously my dad had a lot of doubts. He was always like, this isn't a career. This isn't going to work out. And what I'll say is this, these careers, these are the new careers. These are the new lawyers and doctors now. Being in sales is especially tech sales, is the best way to make money, I think, in the 21st century. Sales, obviously, in general, but especially tech sales, I think, in my opinion, because tech is just, everyone knows tech's the future. You got Elon Musk is all over the news. I mean, you know, tech is the future. And and every tech company is looking for salespeople, and if you're good, they'll treat you like a god. You know
Like
what I mean?
royalty, man. Yeah, it is. It is really is true. And that's something I hear as well often. Okay, but how secure is this? Because it's outside of the traditional world, and I see it that way. Like a lot of people have a false sense of job security. They can just be replaced like that, man. And if you learn actually a high income skill, so that's basically what you were referring to. We're living now in an economy where it's really like a gig economy where you get paid to deliver certain results. So it's not anymore about your degree or kind of what school you went to or whatever. It's really more about what result are you able to deliver. So if you learn a high income skill, whether that's closing, communication, what we do here, or that's copywriting or whatever that might be for you, digital marketing as well. These are all great skill sets to have, where you can really add a lot of value to a corporation, to a company on the free marketplace. Because if you, Jared, are able to generate the company, let's say $1 million, okay, they're more than happy to pay you like 100 grand for that, more than happy, and that's kind of where the sense of financial confidence come into play, okay, that you just know for fact, first of all, you're recession proof, because especially in a recession, what do you think? Are there salespeople more in demand when times are good or when times are bad?
Yeah, salespeople are more in demand when times are bad.
Exactly, 100%. So even now, when you go into a recession, the market is probably almost like we going down, man. It's May right now. Let's see how it's playing out in a couple of months. But even in a recession, salespeople, good. Here's the thing: good closers, good salespeople are even more in demand because they're bringing in the revenue, man. They keeping the boat afloat. So you're super recession proof if you're good. You have financial confidence, so you wake up in the morning, you always know you can out there, you can land a new gig, you can start working with someone else, you can close someone on working with you just by your skill and generate your cash flow out of thin air, basically. And this is really like what I think is the most important or most beautiful thing about learning a high income skill. And then what you said, tech sales, I think tech, software, AI, anything video related, education related. These are really the big industries that are growing like crazy.
Same thing for e-commerce, digital marketing. They all need salespeople. They all need someone who's going to get on the phone with these leads and close them. Obviously, if something's cheap, they can sign up online. But if you're charging more than $1,000, you're always going to need a human on the other side of the line that's going to sweet talk them into it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Those salespeople aren't going anywhere. We're definitely not going to be replaced by robots, because I don't know the last time someone spent $3,000 on a program from a robot. I mean, that's just not
like the voicemail, right? Like, hello, the voicemail.
Thing is, with my job, what I try to tell these people, I train a lot of people now, and I'm like, just pretend that you're calling your friend. Be yourself, have a conversation with these people, and that's how you become a good salesman. And if you're robotic, you ain't selling shit. I promise you that. And as far as like you said, financial confidence, I'll be honest, like I wasn't even sure about the whole financial confidence thing. And when you start out in a new job and you're new, you definitely feel disposable, right? But once you prove yourself and you do well, then like you ain't going anywhere. Like I'm not leaving this company unless I choose to. And even then, let's just say for some reason the company gets engulfed in flames and they go under.
Which is very unlikely, by the way.
Very unlikely. Yeah, at this point, my company for sure. But even if it did, hypothetically, there's literally millions of different tech companies out there that I can go to that would be more than happy to have me. And all I have to do is literally show them my numbers that I send you all the time and be like,
social proof. Social proof. I appreciate so much.
I'm number one in the company out of 100 salespeople for an $800 million company this month. And I was number one this year. And I was number two last year. You show them that, they're going to be like, all right, when can you start?
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
now I'm at a place where I understand what financial confidence means. Like I can go wherever I want. I have companies literally hitting me up on LinkedIn now every single day. Like, do you want a job?
Yeah. Yeah, that's so beautiful, because again, if you have this financial confidence, you know you can only drip, like even if the worst case scenario happens, you can only fall so deep, right? Or so much down, or so far. So yeah, I mean, what currently, like, what does your day-to-day life look like right now? So I get it, you probably work a lot and you work very hard, but kind of give us an overview on what
Yeah.
does your day and Jared's life look like?
Yeah. And I just want to reiterate, trust me, I'm not working nearly as hard as a lawyer or a doctor does. And I can tell you firsthand, my dad's a lawyer. He works way harder than I do. Okay. Like, you know what I mean? Like if you had any friends that are lawyers or doctors, when I say hard work, like, yeah, I'm working hard. I'm not like, an Instagram influencer at the beach all day having fun taking pictures, but I'm not working nearly as hard as a lawyer or as a doctor is. You know what I mean? Like, so I would say I get into the office around 8:30-ish and I leave around, honestly, 4:30, 5 o'clock. Yeah, once in a while I have a day where I leave around 5:30. But usually I'll leave around 4:30. No one questions me. I'm one of the top guys. And if I want to work remote, I can, which I do. If I had, a long night and I'm a little hungover, I'll work from home. Like, and a lot of our company does work remote, by the way. The
So
only reason,
you're basically choosing to go to the office. So you make that your workspace, so you get it more of a separation in.
well, first things first, literally, my office is like across the street. You can't really see, but my office is across the street. I walk there in 2 minutes, so I feel like an idiot working from home because it's right there. But also, I manage a couple people now, and honestly, one of the people I manage is both of them actually aren't even in the office. So to be honest, I don't have to go. I live across the street. I would say 40% of our company, maybe more, is remote. I just go into the office because it's across the street. But anyways, my day to day is that I'm working, whether it's remote or in the office, I'm working from 8-ish to 4-ish, usually. Sometimes 5-ish. But if you told anyone that that's the hours I work and I'm gonna make 300K this year, they'd say you're fucking crazy. And this is what I do. Now that I'm higher up in the company, I don't have to cold call much. I have something that's called an SDR, a sales development rep, under me. So these are younger, newer people in sales that literally cold call leads all day, and they set appointments for me. They're setters, basically what you call setters. So I have a setter. She sets appointments for me. I usually have a couple appointments every day. And what I do is I hop on a Zoom demo like we're doing, but I share my screen. I show you our website. I run you through it and I close you. And 90% of my deals, I close on the spot, on the call. And our demos are way shorter than anyone else. Our demos, believe it or not, are 15, 20 minutes, sometimes 10 minutes. Sometimes I'll call a guy, cold call. I won't even hop on Zoom and I'll close them in 5 minutes. And our price range is anywhere from like 2,500 to 5,000 for one person. Gotcha. And 80% of our deals are one user. But I've done team deals up to 20, 25,000 as well. Which obviously those you don't close on the spot, even though I have closed a 3-seater on the spot for like 15K before. Most of them is just one user, 3,000-4,000. I get them on the spot. So yeah, so they set appointments, I do demos, and I make follow-up calls. And then the reason why I'm a top producer is because when I'm sitting there and I don't have any demo appointments or setter appointments and I don't have any follow-ups, I'll go ahead and I'll fucking cold call myself. Even though I don't have to. And I'll make an extra, 30, 40,000 a month sold just cold calling myself. If I wanted to sit back, relax, and make 200,000 a year, I don't have to cold call. But if you want to make 300,000, you want to be number one in the company, you can't just rely on your setter to get you all the leads. You know what I mean? So I do
that.
both. So I'm cold calling, I'm on demos, I'm doing follow-ups.
So it's basically also, this is a good example to what you said earlier, not being afraid of putting in the hard work, and also not being afraid of going out of your comfort zone. Because I mean, cold calls, they're just more uncomfortable than just regular inbound calls. That's basically what we're teaching in our program. But if you're not kind of shy of going out of your way and doing that extra mile, I mean, to get in another extra 40 grand, like, why not? Or however that might be. But
yeah. Yeah, and I'll say this, I've been in sales for 8 years now. I'm at a point where, like, I used to hate making cold calls, but now I'm at a point where I enjoy it. I love it. I get off on it. You know what I mean? I'm literally like chasing people for money, and it feels like a video game to me, where I'm just calling these people, and it's like, you know, I can make $1,000 on one call in 5 minutes. So it's really fun for me, where I'm just like, it's a video game. Who's gonna win? Who's gonna get paid? You know what I mean?
yeah, like gamifying the process, basically.
Yeah. I mean, I enjoy it. And I think if you can get to a point where you can mentally enjoy cold calling and be numb to rejection, then I promise you, you're going to be extremely successful in sales if you can get to that point. And it took me years to get there, but you can get there. And it takes a certain personality, which, you know, but, you know, anyone can have that. It just takes time and practice.
Yeah, which I want to be clear, like, you do not need to do cold calling, right? This is just something that you basically can do if you want it, if you choose to do so, right? What we basically teach people is like inbound closing, which is the people that you usually talk to, they already are interested in whatever the offer is, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Just to be clear, but yeah, man, that's super great. Like, what would you, just to kind of slowly wrap this up here as well, like, what would you say to someone, Jared, you know, that is maybe in a similar situation like you at the beginning, and I think you saw me on Riley's channel, right? So kind of we're doing full circle here. So what would you do to someone? What would you say to someone who, you know, maybe is not 100% sure if closing or learning this high income skill of sales and closing is the right thing, and they're maybe not sure about joining our program, like, or they may be considering of joining? Like, what would you say someone who is in that spot?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. I mean, if someone's on the fence, I mean, first thing I'd tell them is like, I mean, well, first of all, what else are you going to do to make this kind of money? I mean, if you're not going to be a lawyer or a doctor, and you're not the creative type, and you're not, you know, good with like digital marketing or branding and things like that, but you want to work remote and travel the world and make 6 figures, I mean, sales is really your only option. But not only that, it's a lot of fun. You know, whether you are your own boss and you're working for an influencer, or you're working at a company like me, it doesn't really matter, because if you're in sales and you're doing well and you're making commission, no one tells you what to do. So this is the easiest way in the 21st century to have fun, be your own boss, work remote, travel, and make tons of fucking money. I mean, this is the easiest, most realistic way to make good money and live your dream and be a digital nomad and be on your own schedule. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
Especially if you're not the creative type and you've tried Amazon FBA like I have, and you've tried drop shipping, you've tried maybe being a coder, or whatever else, tried running social media pages and doing marketing, you know what I mean? If that hasn't worked out for you, this is probably the most realistic. And that's why I signed up with your course, Marcus, because this is really the most realistic way to be your own boss, be a digital nomad, and make 6 figures and live the dream remotely. I mean, this is the most realistic, easiest way.
I love that, man. Yeah, I think that summarized it up perfectly. There's nothing really anything that I would add to that. And as the sun is basically setting here behind me, I would say let's wrap it slowly up. Jared, is there anything else, that you want to mention or that you want to share with existing clients of us, or people who are the fans, or people who are watching this right now who are thinking about getting into remote high ticket sales? Anything else that you want to mention or share before we wrap things up?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say this, like, obviously, it's not a quick fix. It's not, like what you're pretty clear about with your pitch for your course. Like, it's not an easy fix. It's not
a magic bullet.
It's not a magic bullet. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm working pretty hard. Like, there's some stressful moments. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not easy and it's not for everyone. But I do think there's more people for high ticket sales than there are for anything else, if that makes sense. Which goes back to me saying, like, it is the most realistic career path if you want to, be your own boss and enjoy what you do and still make good money. I really do believe that it's a better fit for the general population than anything else out there, especially for millennials. We all want to work remote, have a good work-life balance. We want to travel. We want to, but we also want good income. Yeah. You want to work from the beach from your laptop, but you also want to make good money. Like, I get it. Don't we all? Or maybe a lot of these people these days want to start their own business. You know what I mean? And this is the most realistic route, in my opinion. I've tried everything else out there. This is the best and most realistic route to take if that's what you want in life. I really believe
it's like a fundamental, right? You can always, if you learn sales and closing and you're getting very good at it and you're generating cash flow, you can use that as a trampoline to get into your own business, right? Because then you have the closing skill, you have the cash flow, you're not dependent on the income that your passion business or your first business is generating. Basically.
100%. I'll say this before we wrap up. I have a good friend who he dropped out of college at 15. He taught himself how to code. And the first thing he did when he went out on his own and left his cushy job where he was making $250,000 a year was he hit me up because he knew I was in sales and I've been in sales for years. And he goes, Passin, I need your help. I need to pull a list of prospects and I need you to write a cold call script. I need you to write an email blast and I need you to take these calls for me and get these clients for me, because it doesn't matter what type of business you're in, you need to know sales. Otherwise, you're not going to get any clients. End of story. So if that is your future goal, to start your own business, and it's not to just be a sales guy at a company for the rest of your life, well, guess what? You better learn how to do sales. Otherwise, your company's not going to exist. I can guarantee you that.
And the funny thing, just to piggyback onto that, the funny thing is this, Jared, if you think about what's going on around us, not just in business, nothing really happens until a sale is made, if you think about it. So literally salespeople and closing, we're driving the economy, right? Because like you wouldn't have in your car if no one would have sold you that car. You wouldn't be in that apartment if no one would have sold you that apartment or rented you that apartment, right? Or made that apartment attractive to you, so to speak. Now, so you wouldn't be sitting on that couch if no one would have sold it to you. Okay, so nothing really happens until a sale is made in life on this planet.
100%. Last thing I want to say, because it's kind of funny, like my brother is also in sales. He's been in sales for a long time. And he always brings up to me, he's like, look, yo, Jared, did you notice that salespeople at these clothing stores and these shops you go into are terrible? They need sales training. Like if they all went through the Grant Cardone sales training, like they'd make so much more money. Like no one comes in, when I go into a store and I try on these shirts, like all it takes is one person coming up to me, Marcus, and being like, damn, Jared, that shirt fucking looks incredible on you, by the way. I guarantee you I'm buying that shirt 2 minutes later.
I take it.
And no one does that. And these retail stores can make so much more money if they had killer salesmen in there, literally just going up to every person and schmoozing them and being like, Marcus, that turtleneck looks amazing, by the way. You really should buy that.
Thanks, man. I take it, you know, but I think if you're right now watching this and you are in retail sales, like I'm 100%, I'm so convinced, don't try to get good at retail sales, go into high ticket. Don't sell a shirt for like $100, go and sell something for like 10 grand or on commission. You will make a lot more money. It's the same work. It will level up your entire life.
100%. It's probably less work, at least on the body. You get to work remote from anywhere. You're making a shit ton of more money. I mean, it's a no-brainer. But while you're stuck there, at least go up to the next person you see and tell them they look good. I promise you, you'll get the sale.
I love that. On that note, Jared, thank you so much. If you're still watching this, thank you for watching until the end. If you are interested in learning more about high ticket sales, remote sales, and want to figure out how we might help you do the same that we did with Jared to get you back on track with your sales game and help you absolutely crush it, then there's a link down below in the description where you can apply for a strategy call with myself or someone in my team where we can figure out how we might be able to do the same for you. Jared, it has been absolutely amazing, man. Thank you so much. And I would say I see you around, okay?
Marcus, thank you. Carmina behind the camera, thank you. Appreciate you guys. We'll talk soon.
Awesome, man. Cool.